Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Survivor David versus Goliath. And I just want to say we have a special guest. It's not Tyler. But anyway, we've got Alex Kidwell, formerly of Rob Has a Podcast, and now he's here with us. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
We are so ready for you to have a mic in front of your face. But I have a quick question for you. It's very important. Alex, is it worse when your balls are separated or when they stick together?
Yeah, I had a feeling we were coming here. I just didn't know how soon. But yeah, good on you not to bury the lead. Yeah, I think Angelina said it best, that when they get separated, you're done, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Allison, do you agree with that?
I don't have balls, and to be quite honest, Tyler, I'm still waiting for yours to drop.
Thank you.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it is in my weekly meltdown. We fire shots at each other all the time. But that was good, Allison. That was probably your first good one. So it took long, but good job there.
I gotta say, those moments used to be a lot more subtle with like the poles and balls and stuff in the channel. I almost feel like they're doing it on purpose now with like the level of
yeah.
It's pretty overt. I don't know where we can go from here.
I wrote down all of them. We will definitely get to that. But we have a lot to talk about with this episode. I mean, Christian, who I thought was going to the end. Everybody's been talking about how strong his edit is and like how positive it is and everything like that. Everybody was kind of on the same page with thinking that Christian was probably going to the end, maybe final four-ish. So it's a big upset, and yet another reason why like the editing and like the story being told this season is so different, so unexpected. I really thought Dr. Allison was done for tonight. So can't wait to talk about all of it.
Yeah. I love how Nick played his. Here we go again. Jeff is ready. Who's got does anybody have the immunity idol? And then someone gets up and then walks away and then gives them the idol. No, I think once he says, I'm going to read the votes. No. You are not allowed to go, oh, I have an immunity. No, fuck that. I'm over it. I love this season, but stop it. And then he does, oh, I just love the fake idol and I just wanted to read everybody. Yeah, this is what you need to read. You're next.
Well, I think like last week when Christian like interrupted Jeff, like that was a good TV moment, but to have like that to happen again this week and it just being really awkward this time, like I thought it was a huge difference, and I think Jeff should have shut it down.
Yeah, a lot of posturing. It didn't, and his idol play didn't really work, so it doesn't end up looking as
right.
He swung for the fences, but he did not it hit it just short of the wall there.
It was a terrible swing at the fences. Like it was just awkward, like cringeworthy. Like that's something Allison would do if she were ever on Survivor.
Oh, you know what? Damn right.
Wait, let me show everybody I have this fake idol. I'm gonna play it. Oh, it's fake, but I just read the room and I'm such a great, intelligent player. So you know what? I'm gonna use my real idol. And I actually wasn't gonna get voted out tonight. So good job, Nick.
Like I think we've seen that a jury appreciates like good theatricality, and if you're gonna make a bold, grandiose move that is like a correct read, but this was the wrong read. So he ends up just kind of like filibustering for no reason.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Filibustering, like that. It just made no sense, and it just took up time.
Yeah, and Jeff holding the fake idol was like this.
And Angelina, of course, is like, who are you playing it for? Like, you don't have to play your real one, and like just like guiding him the whole time. It's so funny. But what did you guys think about Nick creating this fake idol to begin with? Because I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you guys say first.
Alex, go ahead.
I always liked them. I always liked the move. There was a lot of things I missed this episode because my like West Coast stream was cutting in and out, which is a problem I never used to face on the East Coast. And sometimes you just deal with it out here. Like that's just like cost of doing business. But as far as like just in general, I think if you're handy, like if you're able to craft. I'm not one of those people. Like I'm not good with small bits. But if that's you, like more power to you. Like I don't. see, you know, if you're able to make a believable enough looking one, which I felt like that was, then it's really more about like how creative can you be in implementing it. And that's where I think like Nick didn't necessarily like do anything super good with it. So like having it in and of itself, I think like you've got possibilities. It's just you're limited by your imagination there.
Yeah.
Listen, he found that idol. He hid it. Then he was digging around like a cat in a litter box. And he was like, well, look what I found. I just happened to find an idol. What a coinky-dink, dude. Whatever. I'm like, Davey, I'm like, okay, dude, really? You're sitting there and you just happen. They never would have hidden it that easy under a raft. Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Well, unless your name is Ben in Survivor Heroes, Healers, Hustlers, then you just find idols wherever conveniently. But I thought that, you know, usually I'm not on board with the whole like making the fake idol thing. Like I think it's really flashy, but in like a stupid way. And we've all seen it play out like a bunch of times. But I think the reasoning behind him wanting to do it was really good and valid. You know, Christian just played his idol last time. So of course there's going to be a new idol put into the game. So how do we prevent people from looking for that idol? You know, let's just say like I created a fake idol. So then Christian's not going to look for it. It keeps his guard down. And I thought that was really intelligent. I haven't seen like that spin on like a fake idol before. So I respected that move, but everything about this fake idol was just terrible to me.
Well, the whole Davey going to look for an idol, everyone's huddled up and it's raining and nobody's missing him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is like one thing that I've noticed is people are not noticing when someone's missing. What do you think they're doing?
I think what they say is like, I have to go talk to the confessionals. Like I have to have like a diary room session of sorts. And that's like the excuse. That's the excuse I would use because nobody can question that. You know, you can't question production. But I don't know.
But you can follow them and keep them honest.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised we don't see more of that. Like, you know, Andrea was the queen of that. She just like camp on you while you're searching for the idol. That was always such a great move, I think.
Exactly. And it paid off for her too. Like she got like this like inside information, but of course, like everybody's too distracted with the rain and they're cold and they want to stick together. So good on Davey for, you know, doing that in that moment. However, I was getting 50 shades of Ghost Island last season with this whole like choice bullshit and like smashing the urns and like risk versus reward type of thing. And I was just ready to like roll my eyes and puke everywhere because I've said numerous times on this show how much I hated Ghost Island. It was such a dumpster fire of a season. And any remnants of that season coming back into this amazing season, I was triggered. Like I was ready to go. But I'm glad Davey was like, I'm not going to play these reindeer games. I'm not going to, you know, go along with all this bullshit. I'm just going to take this idol and I'm going to play this idol tonight. And that's going to be the end of that. And before he made that decision, I wrote in my notes, I was like, the right thing to do here is just to take it. Don't even risk it. Just play it tonight, whatever, you know? So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
It's a waste of an idol.
Yeah. I think I kind of like it. Cause like as a generic twist, I don't necessarily like it. Like, I guess it's like a deal or no deal idol kind of. But if like for late in the game, with like when they introduced it at Ghost Island was like the middle of the game, and I thought it just kind of was a random time to do that. But if you're re-hiding an idol at like 7 or 6 or something, I kind of like the idea of like play for it to matter for more than a week, because at this point in the game, an idol's so much more powerful than it would have been like even 3 or 4 weeks ago. That I think, I don't know, there's something to the idea maybe of like a limited power idol if it's going to be an idol that's like replayed.
Yeah, but risking losing your vote like this late in the game at final 7 or 6 or whatever they're at right now, like that's way too much power to roll the dice with. In my opinion.
I wish you could just play for like, you know, like if you like you can keep playing for like the number of weeks it's good, but if you lose, then the idol's worth nothing. Like that would be better. You don't lose your vote, you just lose that idol.
Right. And yet it's a 50-50 chance each time. I mean, like that's no joke. Like that's, I don't know, that to me, that's not worth the risk. And I think that Davey made the right decision there.
Yeah.
Deborah was going to join us tonight, but she couldn't log in, but that's okay. She wanted everyone to know how much she loves all of you, that she she's jumped off a roof over Christian. I'm that too. Like I don't know. He kind of made it for me. Like and like I said, I was blindsided. I had no idea this was going to happen tonight. I was kind of hoping Angelina would go with her fucking bag of rice. Let me tell you something. If I hear about that one more time,
Oh wait, does she? Wait, keep going. My volume. Wait, it's your volume that went out. I didn't mute you, I promise.
Are you muting me? Are you
No,
muting me?
I for once I did not mute you.
Okay.
Real quick, Pokemon wants a shout out. He says that Alex is awesome, so shout out to Pokemon.
Yes.
Anyway, Allison, try that again.
No, well, see, now
He's
it's
awesome.
not dramatic. I mean, it doesn't. I say, can we stop it with the rice? I mean, yes, you did it, but now it doesn't look genuine. Now it looks like you did it to get something out of it, which, hey, I don't blame you. But when you keep rubbing our noses in the dog shit, it gets on our nerves.
I didn't want to bring this up, but yes, I did.
Right, like I take pity on me. Like of course I didn't. I did this for the team, but since we're talking about it, I stepped out of a challenge that you won. So we're so connected. We're like this, Davey, please. Like I need food so bad. Like get out of here. Like what a terrible bargaining chip. And that happened 2 weeks ago on the show. Well, 6 days in Survivor time, but whatever. But she is
still
just
a long time when you've got nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I would it's funny because like Jeff was like, all right, and if anybody wants to make their case, and before he even finished his sentence, Angelina was like, actually, Jeff, I want to say something.
My eyes just started to roll. It was like a knee-jerk reaction. I couldn't help it.
I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but I took a master's class in negotiations at Yale, so I'm going to go first and talk about the rice for a second and how much that meant to everybody and why I should eat because I'm the best. But if you don't pick me, like it's okay, like I understand, but still, I did this for everybody, so I should be rewarded. Look at me.
Those moments on Survivor with like the who will you pick to go get food are just always so awkward.
They really are.
Everyone's so hungry that like they can't help but just become that like 5-year-old who like is like waiting to see who's going to get the last invitation to the birthday party in class. Like there's only so many to go around. And there's not enough. There's not as many invites as there are kids. And you're just sitting there like,
it is cringeworthy. And it's
every time they're just reverting to like just basic animal instincts.
Do you guys think that Davey made the right decision by picking those two people though, by picking Nick and Kara?
No, man, it's hard to say. This game's just been so like up and down and fluid. Like I have feelings on who is like a front runner. Like I felt like Allison was like a clear front runner to win this game. And then Mike in this episode was like, nobody's going to vote for Allison to win. And I was like at home, like, really? Is he right about that? Or is he mistaken? Or like, I don't know.
Mike has like no winner's equity either. So like,
he doesn't know what he's talking about, right?
Allison.
All right. Okay.
Allison would get votes over Mike any day. So he can, I don't know what he's thinking there.
Allison was tighter with Alec. Like, she was tighter with. I think she was tighter with a lot of the jury, to be honest. Than Mike.
And she's had like she won like that first immunity challenge at the merge. So like she's definitely like a more physical threat. Like her challenge wins have been more of an accomplishment than holding 3 balls on a platter.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I'm gonna get on the balls in a second. Yeah. But it like. I forgot what I was going to say. As soon as you said balls, my mind went girl boy mode. But no, here's what I would have done. I think it was smart that he left Christian because you want to leave one of your people that you're close with to kind of troll and spy and see what everyone is saying. So when you come back, but yeah, it was just kind of like Angelina going after he picked Nick. We both picked you on the shut the fuck up. Like I can't deal with it anymore.
It never works either. I think that's the thing that people, in the moment it feels like it's gonna work. It never works. That's never desperation is a stinky cologne. People don't people are not drawn to it.
Yeah. And then of course like Kara gets picked. So we see them go to reward. And so that's when Davey starts really transpiring against Nick. They wait for Nick to leave and Davey goes right to work. Kara's really in on the plan because she's really excited. This is the first actual move that she's making this game, and she's excited to be a part of it. But I was really disappointed to see how quickly Davy turned around on this whole plan to take out Nick. As soon as Nick came clean about that idol being fake, Davy was like, "Oh, he's actually not lying to me. He's actually a good guy." And I think that was a bad look, at least in my opinion, because they're showing that Davy is making decisions based on emotion and based on how people are treating him, rather than like really separating personal from strategic, and still identifying that Nick is a big threat. Nick created this huge lie that like to get out Christian, and this like big like power play strategic move like that doesn't even require any hidden immunity idols, and it just like totally flipped like the entire scene for this week. And that's something you have to look out for, that strategic prowess, and Davy's like not separating that, and I wasn't into it. What do you think, Allison?
Hold on, I can't see the chat, so I'm letting everyone know. I mean, because like I'm blind right now, I'm just like letting them know I'm not ignoring everyone. I'm just I can't see shit right now.
You're fine. I'm keeping an eye on the chat.
And I totally missed what you just said because I was trying to see the chat.
So basically what I was just saying was like I don't think it was a good look on Davy tonight, how he really wanted Nick out, but then as soon as Nick came to him and said, I made up this idol, like as soon as he came clean to Davy about like the actual truth, Davy was like, this guy's actually loyal to me. I'm gonna keep him around after all. And he's not separating the personal from like the strategic game. Like even if like Nick lied and doesn't have the idol, he still made this huge power move with all this like strategic like decision making, and that is still a really big threat to take to the end. And Davy just like totally throws him being a threat out the window because he's doing something for me. He's loyal to me. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was definitely a mistake because Nick didn't even vote with him this time. He opened the door again and let the stranger into his house, and he woke up and dude eating all his food and taking his money again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like Nick has proved he's here to play the game, and Davey needs to be in that same mindset. He can't be thinking about like who has been. Who's my person and who's not. He needs to be thinking about like who can I beat at the end, and like probably his best shot at the end is Angelina and I don't know, Mike or Kara. Like I don't know who has the most winner's equity among those Goliaths, but I feel like Allison has the most. So and he's probably better off not going with Christian or Nick because they're also like people who had a similar trajectory over the season as he did. Like when he made a big move, they were kind of making moves at the same time. So it's tough about like when you make those moves. So like that's really the problem. And if you're in a position like Davey, because he hasn't really been playing from out in front, like Christian was seen as the face of that alliance, which is why he's like having to dodge all the bullets. But now that Christian's gone, like it's he's in a tough position because Nick again, like didn't play with him here. And, I think he's going to have to rely on hopefully like Angelina and Cara wanting to stick with them at this point, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, Davey last week was saying like Christian is a huge meat shield for me. Like once he goes, I'm next. Like, is that foreshadow for maybe Davey being taken out next here?
I thought for sure Davey might use his idol on Christian again.
Does Davey have an idol?
He played it tonight.
For one night. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. I thought you meant like another idol. Sorry. Go ahead.
No.
He did.
So, yeah. Well, who I would, now I'm kind of thinking I would love to see Nick and Davey in the final two. But I'm kind of thinking that they're gearing, what was that? Tyler?
I sighed a little bit because like that's a really tough call in terms of like who would win between those two.
I think it would be close, but I feel like they're, they always have to do the fun, three. And I've seen what I can see in the chat is that the rumor is Jeff Probst is not happy with who is in the final three. So let's go over that for a second.
That means it's like 2 women or 3 women or something.
Listen, this is who I think it is. It's Mike, Angelina, and shit. Mike, Angelina, and who's left? Mike, Angelina,
Kara, Allison.
Yeah.
could be Allison. I think because see, I wouldn't think. Yeah, she could be. So, who do you guys think that the three is that he's not happy with? If you had to pick,
Go ahead, Alex.
Cara, Angelina, Allison. Yeah, it's probably the three women. It probably is.
Can you imagine that final three? That would be amazing. I would love that.
It's not like a bad final three. Yeah.
It's not. I
three.
would love to see that, actually.
Yeah.
Angelina,
And especially to get there, like
Yeah.
the next couple of weeks, we'll have to be a couple pretty major shifts.
Who wins in that situation? I guess Allison does, right?
I think so, but
oh, for sure. Because what's her nuts is going to sit up there and talk about the rice some more. Like we
She's
haven't
going to
talked
talk about the
that
rice
enough.
and the jacket.
Yeah.
And the
I don't
jacket.
think Angelina wins. I just don't know. I don't know where Cara stands at all. Like, she doesn't get enough airtime for me to know how the jury sees her. Like, she was really close to some of those people, but did like Dan and Alex see her as like, oh, she was like, loyal to me, and as a result, she's not someone who is really like making moves? Or is that loyalty like gonna then manifest itself in a vote because like Cara's my girl? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I think Cara and Mike kind of suffer from the same problem here. I think like we hear from both of them in terms of like their thought process and their perception of the game and their perception of their place with other people and stuff. And it's usually correct. But I said this a couple weeks ago, we've never seen Mike really in the driver's seat, really like making the moves in terms of like what benefits his game. And like he's always like in the conversations, but he's not the one driving and leading the conversation. And I feel the same exact way about Cara. I think that she just hasn't, and we saw tonight. I mean, Mike like tried to make something happen, and he didn't get his way. He tried so hard, and they zoom in on him, like really like sitting around the beach, like thinking, like you can tell he's like really trying to make this happen, but he just doesn't have the social capital or strategic chops to make it happen.
But didn't he want Christian out?
Oh, that's true. You're right. But I think that had more to do with like idols coming into play. Like he didn't get like the amount of votes that he needed to if idols weren't being played.
Well, you can't just pull your balls out when you have the immunity necklace on. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just start swinging them around.
That's another thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
When he was like, and I now I'm safe this week, so like I'm not afraid to like go swinging for the hedges and stuff like that. Like just because you're safe this week, that doesn't make your voice any louder or stronger. Like you still have the same amount of votes as everybody else.
We hear that all the time on Survivor and Big Brother. Like if you're able to get safety, it's like you feel a freedom that you didn't have before. But it's like playing. Well, like I play poker a lot, and it's like playing poker afraid to go broke. You know what I mean? Like if you play poker scared you might go broke, you're gonna go broke. Like you have to set aside this amount of money I'm okay with losing, and then play from there. You know what I mean? And if you do that, then your head's in the right place. But I think that's part of the same thing with immunity is like, you need to be thinking every week as though you have immunity, because if you're playing to protect yourself, you're not playing to win necessarily. You're not setting yourself up necessarily the way you need to be doing. You're not eliminating people in the order they need to go to give you the best jury for you to win. You need to take a little more control, I think, in some of these games before you find yourself in a position where you're facing a jury that doesn't know you that well and your allies can take credit for all your moves or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And Deb says she brings up a really good point in the chat. She says Mike didn't even vote Christian; he voted Davey.
Right? Yeah, he tried to make a move on Davey this week, and then Davey had that idol. So again, he tries to make a move, and it backfires. And the biggest problem Mike has is one he hasn't even gotten to yet, which is like, how do you convince a bunch of regular people to give you $1 million when you're the only millionaire? Well, I guess John Hennigan out there, he's probably a millionaire, I think, at this point. He's doing pretty well in the wrestling circuit, but it's a tall order to convince all these people that, like, even if they think you're the best player, it's like, well, maybe he was the best player, but let's give the money to someone who didn't like write School of Rock. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. That's a tall order.
True. It's so
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, because School of Rock is now a big, isn't it a big musical on Broadway now? So that's just making bank.
It's like syndicated. I see it on TBS every day.
It is for sure. But I mean, they're saying.
That's a good point.
I did see scrolling by that what I can see is Kara has a better social game than Mike, which is the biggest difference in my
I
opinion.
kind of think she does too. Yeah. I mean, well, just from what we've seen, like it's hard to know for sure, but we definitely saw there was moments like original Goliath and with, I mean, a lot of this jury is going to end up being Goliath, I think, right? The majority. Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, Mike was on the outs at times, and Kara like always seemed like she was in the majority group when it was, her and what's her name, Natalia, back when she was still around, Dan, and then she was in with Alec and Allison when they were like every time a Goliath contingent was making a move, they involved Kara. So I again, it just comes down to, was she seen as like a piece that everyone can use, or was she seen as like a loyal soldier that like, man, Kara played a really strong, upstanding game that I might want to reward at the end? Like, I really don't know which it is.
Right.
Don't you think it's, okay, I hate to keep going back to this Instagram scandal with Alec and Kara, but don't you think it's funny that Alec is really the only one that's being punished? So to me, since they're letting Kara get away with it because it was his Instagram, whatever, she might very well make it in the final three. And
final three. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely final three, because you can't not let someone who might win not be there.
Yeah. It's a good call.
And maybe that's why Jeff's like really mad. He like wanted to like take her out of the finale too, but they can't if she's like in the final three. She has to sit there,
Also, I noticed tonight that she looks a lot like Baylor from season 29 if she was blonde. And now I can't unsee it. Like, I don't know if anyone else sees that, but I really do now.
Speaking of Baylor, I fact-checked when Christian said in Tribal that the most votes counted against them in a single season was 19. Alex, do you think that that's true or false?
Like overall, like accumulated?
Yeah, so like single most like votes gotten in a single season. Do you think he's right with 19? And if so, with who?
Probably is. It sounds like something he checked on the Survivor Wiki before he left. Man. Yeah, I don't know who it was though. That's a good question.
Yeah, so I fact checked this, and Laura Moret in Survivor Blood versus Water had 19 votes.
Right. She gets voted out twice in that game, and by huge majorities both times.
Yeah.
Yep. That'll factor.
And Philip Shepard and Ozzy both have 17, and then Baylor has 16.
There's Baylor. So she freaking hell. They do look. That is eerie.
Right?
Wow. Wow. That is cray. Okay. Yeah. Maybe they're related.
Funny, it took me a while to see it, but I saw it tonight. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, I feel like a lot of everybody's physical appearances have really changed this season. Like, I feel like Nick and Allison in particular look like malnourished at this point. Allison literally looks like she's like one of the zombies on The Walking Dead or something. Like, I feel like she needs like a slice of pizza or something in her life.
Christian looks like his eyeballs are about to pop out of his head. I mean, every time he was
always
talking,
looked like that.
Yeah, no, but it's gotten worse. It's like his face has sunken in, and the eyes are just like there. And I'm like, this guy's gonna go nuts at Tribal. He's eyeballs gonna pop out.
That is always one of my favorite like subplots of every Survivor season, is just seeing how people weather over the course of the season. Some people like Christian grow a full beard, and then you've got like Pete from Survivor Philippines who like barely got a wisp of mustache. That was all it was. Like, it was just right here, just a little bit. It was amazing. It was
and
like, I didn't even know that could happen.
This is only day like 34, 35-ish. I mean, Australian Survivor, they go like 59 days or whatever. Like, imagine like these people at like day 59 on Australian Survivor. Allison would literally be like blue, like her skin would be blue at that point.
Let me tell you something. Deb and I have had this conversation on the show. If I make it on Survivor, I'm getting all the hair on my body lasered off. I don't want pit hairs. I don't want buckwheat in a leg lock. None of it. Do you hear me?
Then you're the first boot.
That's true. I spent all this money getting laser hair removal, $1,000 on the first freaking boot. True. Thanks, Tyler.
So do you guys want to talk about balls for a second?
Yes, because I really feel like, I always want to talk about balls. But I feel like
same.
Jeff Probst enjoyed a little too much saying, "Oh, Davy's balls just dropped. Christian's balls dropped. Allison's balls dropped." I mean, it was just everybody's balls are dropping, and I'm just sitting on my couch, and the little boy and 6-year-old boy in front of me going, "Oh, Jesus."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wrote down some of the highlights, some of Jeff's best puns
Best of
tonight.
balls.
Yeah, best of balls. So of course, well, first of all, Angelina had the blue balls. So Jeff didn't say that, but that's just an honorable mention that came to my head. So he says, Angelina's balls drop. And then he says, Davy's balls separating now. And then he says, what's better, balls separating or balls staying together?
I know.
Both of Davy's balls drop at the same time. And then he says, Christian's right on the edge. And I was like, oh my God, Jeff, like you have to know what you're doing at this point.
His balls are dangling on the edge.
Well, no, we're like literally talking about edging at this point.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't just cut to the camera and be like, the Survivor podcasters fucking love me.
Oh, yes.
I feel like
we know what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like his
Playing
only
for the
nod
sound
to like
bite.
the right, exactly, the soundboard there. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and then Weston says in the chat he added in the game at like the last one after like a really long pause.
Yeah. Right.
If the amount of times like Jeff talks about like balls and like poles, like and like gripping onto like your pole with your hands and stuff. It's
yeah, right.
So I guess we'll talk about the tribal council then. So tonight's theme was really about everybody saying there's voting blocks, and I want to give myself a pat on the back because I've been saying that for the past few weeks that there is no like real alliances this season. Like it really is different voting blocks like every week, and kind of different groups coming together to form like a path to victory for the week for themselves or whatever. And we saw that again tonight. We saw just like different groups trying to go after each other. And like this whole episode, I feel like everybody had like a different goal in mind of like, you know, Mike wanted, who did Mike want gone? Mike wanted Christian gone. Nick wanted Allison. Kara wants Nick. Like it's just all over the place. And I feel like that's been like the theme of this season is like nothing, like there's been like no like Wendell and Dominic. There hasn't been like a solid like twosome, like threesome, like alliance. It's really like stuck together. And I'm glad that they started like acknowledging that and talking about that at Tribal Council.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a big part of it is you've got a lot of very self-interested players. Like I think with Wendell and Dominic, there came a point where they were like, you know, they weren't not self-interested. Like I think they both each individually thought they could and probably would or should win, but
yeah,
there was an element of peace in the idea of the other winning too, which I don't think you have this. Like Nick's not okay with Christian winning. Like he's not, Nick is playing for Nick and nobody but Nick. And I think that makes a big difference, you know, like, because even when you have, you know, two people who are a power alliance and they consolidate all the idols and stuff like that, seems like it's unbeatable, but in reality, at some point they should turn on each other if they both want to win the game.
Yeah. And they're running out of chances.
Only one can win. Like, as it turns out, Dominic probably should have gotten rid of Wendell.
Yeah.
Now we know, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
It's just a pet peeve of mine when they find idols together. I'm like, why? Why are you? No. If I'm going to find an idol, I want to be by my damn self. I don't want anyone following me around. I don't want to do it with my best friend or anything. You know, I just don't understand this. Everybody's finding idols together. It's like, you're all looking. Shouldn't there be a fight over it when you find it? I'm waiting for some people to really get into it. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. Nobody jumped on top of the little litter box idol that Nick found tonight.
Right.
They're like, just let him have it. It's yours. It's yours. It's
I feel like this season and Millennials versus Gen X, probably like more so than any other season, but I wonder if it'll be a trend moving forward. Like you're really seeing like people playing idols on other people a lot more than you used to. Like that really didn't used to happen like this. And even in situations where they don't know definitively that person's going home. Like, you know, David playing it on Jessica, like this is going to buy me loyalty. And Adam had a move like that where he saved Hannah. And like, you know, it's just, you're seeing things like that where you never used to see that before. And I think it just comes down to, they know there's so many idols in the game that they know they can find another one. So they're more liberal with playing them, I guess.
Yeah, like they're a lot more disposable, I guess, is a good way to put that.
I miss the days of when there was like one idol and then they didn't have an idol for a long time. I feel like they're just beating this idol thing to death. Like, I'm kind of over it. I'm like, stop planning idols. Let these people sweat it out at tribal council and not know what the hell is going on. Like, I'm kind of over the whole freaking, we've seen fake idols. Look, everybody knows, you know, don't sit there and find an idol in front of me just conveniently in the most random spot you could possibly think of. I'm not going to fall for it.
Well, Alex, do you think that they're going to hide like another idol for somebody to find and play at Final Six?
Yeah.
You think so?
There's definitely another one going out. Yeah.
Who do you think's going to find it?
I think Davey will.
Because there's no idols in the game at this point now, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think that's right too. So it's definitely going to be either Nick or Davey. And unfortunately, that'll probably lead to like Allison or Kara being taken out.
What if Allison finds it?
I would love that if Allison found it. Allison's my favorite like this season. Like I've been rooting for her for a long time. And
I still think she's going to win. Like, I really do. Yeah, I am like the only one who does, but
give me your pitch. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think, you know, what is it? 6 left, right? Like, I mean, say she's able to get an idol, and then she's able to, you know, if they're able to get out either Nick or Davey, then all of a sudden maybe she can, like, there comes a point where Angelina runs back to her and Cara. I don't know where it is, but it exists, and maybe it's getting rid of Davey. But there comes a point where Angelina finds herself like forced into that. Maybe it's getting rid of Davey and getting rid of Mike. But then, like, I mean, there's a path to her getting to the end with Cara and Angelina and cleaning up, I think. Or even like Angelina and Mike potentially.
Yeah.
How many immunity challenges are left?
3 or 2?
6, 5, 3.
3.
Yeah.
Pokemon says in the chat, this is a really good point. They think that Kara or Angelina will find the idol to fulfill the female idol legacy. So, you know, at the beginning of the season, of course, like Dan, the hot cop, finds the idol. And then we cut to Angelina and she says, you know, I really want a female to find an idol this season because men always win idols. And she gave some statistic, like 85% of idols are found by men, which is true. But that's a really good point. Like, is all of that foreshadow like coming into play now? And is Angelina, Allison, or Cara going to be the one to find the idol and take out one of these guys? I would. Oh my gosh, that is like the best timeline ever. I would love that.
You're gonna pee your pants.
No, and then like that could be Angelina's big move. Like, what if this is her way to get to the end and win?
She's not gonna win. No,
it's
it won't.
Hard to see.
I can't.
I don't know. Maybe that's fan fiction, but that would be a crazy finish for an amazing season.
I would give the $1 million to her yoga pants before I would give them to her. I mean, seriously, I can't take it anymore. I can't deal with Angela. I just can't. I've worked with girls like her. I have been in groups where there's always a freaking Angelina. I think they call them Karens. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, God damn, it comes to Karen. It's Karen. Everybody hates Karen. It's right now, it's Angelina for me. I just can't deal with it. If I hear about the Rice, if she makes it into the final 3, it's okay. If it makes it now, it's the final 4 where they do the fire making.
Fire making, yeah.
Okay, she won't make fire. It's not Rice. She won't do it. So Rice making challenge, she might.
Yeah, or a Rice debating like winning challenge, or like a jacket competition somehow.
Can you imagine her debating during the final 3? I would die.
I want to see that happen, and I think it will happen. I think that like Angelina will be taken as a GOAT to final 3. I cannot wait to see her final 3 pitch.
I think she should. I mean, I don't see another person out there who seems to have rubbed as many people the wrong way as consistently as she has.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a good GOAT, but I just want to see her sitting there when Jeff reads the votes for the winner like this.
You know, it's gonna be the most like dramatic. Like she's gonna be like on the edge of her seats, and like she thinks that she has it all. She's probably telling all of her family back home, like, "Yeah, I got the $1 million. I won this." You know that that's happening.
Yeah, don't start spending that money.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, so maybe that's fan fiction. Maybe I'm just like excited, but I just hate when like these like alpha males like just like idle their way to the end. And I really want like a different timeline for this season. We've seen it a lot of times in the past few seasons. I mean, the last female winner was Sarah in Game Changers, and you know, she played a solid game, but like before that we had Michelle when, you know, I think Aubrey should have won, but that's a debate for Reddit.
Oh God, we've all heard your Aubrey speech.
But I don't know. I'm ready to see another female win. And I think that Allison could win. I don't know if do you think that she could win against Nick or Davey, Alex?
I don't know. I guess it comes down to how, you know, like you were talking about, like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely at this point they're voting in voting blocks, which, you know, I wonder if like, did Davey have to pay Stephen Fishback $1 or something? Like that's,
right.
He used this phrase. I mean, but like there was a point even 3 or 4 weeks ago where it wasn't this fluid at all. Like you had some players who were really like working overtime to try to hold the rigidity of tribe versus tribe. Dan in particular. I mean, and to his credit, because he saw the path. Also. He saw the path to the end for him, which was let's stay Goliath strong. I've got the majority within the majority and the majority within that majority. So let's just run the table. And that would have been the right play for him. But yeah, once you got some of those players out, like at this point, yeah, it seems very clear that tribal lines are not a thing anymore. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know what the jury's criteria is going to be. It's just really hard to tell because like, and some of the jury members in particular, I just feel like we didn't get enough time with them interacting with some of the other people. Like, I don't know how Elizabeth feels about Cara, you know what I mean? Or maybe I do know how Elizabeth feels about Cara, but I don't know how Elizabeth feels about like Allison, you know, or like how, you know, Carl feels about the game that Davey ultimately played. Like, you know, so there's just a lot of uncertainty, I think, with this final group in particular.
I agree. And I went on a tangent maybe last week or the week before last about how, you know, you have in Big Brother and Survivor, the jury is sitting there so long and they've been out of the game so long. They, you know, they don't really know. I guess it's a little different with Big Brother because you do spend more time with them. But I mean, with Survivor, though, it's immediately the merge. And then they immediately start throwing people in jury. And it is like Elizabeth. All Elizabeth knows is what happened to her in that short time. The same with John. So how, you know, it's like, how are they really going to know, you know, who to vote for? It's kind of up in the air. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do. I don't know what's been going on, but I guess that's part of it.
Well, I think it's why you see more and more of these big, like, kind of overt tribal council moments now, because people are trying to, like, that's the moment when the jury actually, like, unlike Big Brother, the jury actually gets to come to tribal council and watch the eviction every week. So that's your moment where, like, you're on stage in front of your audience that's ultimately going to be your jury, you know? So, I mean, you really have an opportunity there. And I mean, I think people watched Ben, you know, and like, obviously Ben played his idols correctly at times that they were necessary and did so in a way that was like kind of grandiose and made like a spectacular showing of it and was ultimately rewarded with the jury. So I think that's something that probably you'll see more people try to duplicate.
Well, like in Big Brother, though, they do get to see the eviction. They bring the DVD with them.
Yeah,
right?
but they get like the super cut of the week. Yeah. They get the comps and the ceremonies.
Right.
You have to think like we're of course like we're seeing the edited like version down of tribal council, but they've said like numerous times that like these tribals actually go on for like an hour or two. So they get to seeing everything.
They get to see hours and hours of Jeff like grilling them, which is something that the Big Brother jury doesn't get. Like they don't get any kind of like Julie interview moment or anything like that. So that's why I kind of almost do expect the Survivor jury to be more informed in a way.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. Pokemon asked a really good question in the chat. They said, if Cara wins, who's the better player, Cara or Michelle from Go Wrong? What do you think?
I'll let you guys have this one.
That's tough. I mean, they have
really-
kind of similar games. I guess I would honestly lean Michelle because like I think her win is a little more repeatable in that like Cara ended up finding first Dan and then Alec, who were like kind of crushing on her. You know, like that's not necessarily going to play out every time she gets put on a tribe of 8 or a tribe of 10. She's not always going to have like a young guy who's crushing on her, who's willing to divulge all his secrets the way Dan did and stuff. So like if Cara wins, like, you know, it's a solid social game that she played. I just think like Michelle, to me, that social game was more impressive because of the way she kind of navigated, you know, a very eclectic group of people. Like she was able to work with Debbie and Sydney and Kyle, Jason, and, you know, I mean, like Michelle demonstrated a really good ability of kind of just being able to like get in with any kind of people, at least for a vote or two. And I think that is like really translatable to any given season. I think Michelle would actually go pretty far on any season.
I think so too.
It's underrated.
That's a good take. I had to agree with you there. I think Michelle would definitely be the better player, better winner. Plus, like, I think Michelle, like, didn't she go on like a little bit of a immunity run towards the end in terms of like winning challenges and stuff? Yeah, so that's like another egg in her basket too.
Thomas the Talker has a prediction in the chat.
Yeah.
He said predictions, final 6, Mike finds idol, Cara eliminated, final 5, Angelina finds and uses an idol. Mike uses idol, Nick eliminated, final 4, Angelina, final 3, and it's Allison, Davey, and Mike. But I'm trying to think of the rumor that Jeff isn't happy with the final 3. Would that be a final 3 that he is not happy with?
I don't know. Like him and Mike are buddies, right? Like I feel like, I mean, Mike could be there, but maybe Mike gets like destroyed by someone Jeff doesn't think is, you know, a good winner. So it's possible, but
Mike just kind of got on my nerves tonight, the way he was just giggling during tribal council. I mean, he didn't even vote for the person he was pushing for. So why are you giggling?
He's really awful at this game, I have to say. Like he can take his like $1 million that he already has and just not be on another reality TV show.
He's not worried about it. Dude's got more than $1 million. He doesn't care. He's living his dream. All he wanted to do is play Survivor, and he's doing it.
Yeah, I think the only people that Jeff would be like really upset about being in the final 3 is Cara because of the whole Instagram gate and Angelina. I think that Jeff probably, you know, Angelina's interrupted Jeff one too many times for Jeff to be okay with her.
Dude, she will interrupt him when he is reading the winner of Survivor. Jeff, I just have I wish
I think what the editor
read my
should
name.
do,
I got
the
rice.
editor should be like, previously on and then it like Angelina's like, wait a minute, Jeff, hold on, I have to talk about something.
Jeff, I forgot to say something before you read the votes for the win. I forgot to mention something. No.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be interesting to see like if at the reunion, if she's asked the question and if she's not asked the question, if she inserts herself into someone else's question.
Oh, I think she will absolutely get asked a question, and she will insert herself to other questions. 100%.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to pay Jeff extra for the finale night because he's not gonna want to ask her else anything. They're like, Jeff, we know, we get it. Just do it. Come on.
Or if they just have like a cardboard cutout instead of her at the reunion.
They should do that for Alec. Just stand.
Yeah,
he should. But I think that's everything in terms of like the episode recap and stuff. So you're on record in saying you think Allison is our winner.
I do. I feel like Allison's winning this game. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like I don't know other people who are saying this, and I'm not like following a lot of like posting. Like I'm not watching the Ponderosa stuff, like all the stuff I used to do for a job that was like very intricate, and like I'm not doing any of that stuff now. I'm like a super casual watcher, so I feel like that it might give me a fresh perspective.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm seeing something that no one else is seeing, and much more likely I'm wrong, and that's not gonna happen. But
I just want Allison to win, just so I can have that soundbite of the winner of Survivor is Allison, and I'm gonna play the shit out of it.
Well, I can
She'd be a good winner.
Yeah,
I think she would too, and I'm
played a very even-keeled game. Like she's not someone who is like, like the emotional highs and lows that some other players this season have been riding. She's not going along with it. She's kind of just staying the course. Solid player.
And I'm with you, Alex. Like Allison was my winner pick at the beginning of the season, so I would be very okay with an Allison win too. And I really have no idea who the winner is at this point. Like usually it's kind of obvious at this point, like who's kind of ahead, but it's really like such an even playing field, like with the exception of Mike and Angelina. It could be any of those four in my opinion. So we'll see like how it turns out. We have some people in the chat that are asking for us to talk about BB20 real quick. Like Alex,
that's cool.
They want your thoughts.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on Big Brother 20?
I thought it was pretty. Oh yeah, just really quickly. Also, yeah, I had to pick Nick preseason because we're Facebook friends. He's like an old school RHAP fan. So
nice.
Which again, like he's a Big Brother watcher too, which speaks to people who are like, why is he naming these alliances? I'm like, because he's watched Big Brother. He knows that like actually sometimes it has a psychological effect where people are like, I'm part of something now, like this is our team. Like if you give something a name, it has tangibility, like he gets that. I don't think he's doing it just to be fun. Like maybe it is fun.
But there's like a science behind that, I think.
Yeah.
I've always thought that. I would desperately be trying to make alliances with people, and no one will make alliances with me. So I would name my own alliance Alonison.
We have somebody in the chat saying BB20 is the most overrated season ever. So I don't know if I agree with that.
I think it's pretty overrated, and I've said that a lot on Twitter. But I don't think it's bad. Like I would probably have it somewhere in the middle of the pack, or maybe like a little lower than the middle, and like everyone else has it like top 3 or something. So that's why I think it's overrated. But I don't think it's like particularly bad season. I think it comes down to actually I saw like a Reddit thread on the Big Brother Reddit a few days ago about this particularly, which is, do you prefer fluid houses or split houses? And I think that's just like a fundamental aesthetic preference about how you like to watch Big Brother.
Yeah.
And some people really enjoy the split house. Like this season was a split house pretty much the entire season. And it created some good drama and some good, back and forth dynamics and stuff like that. But like, I personally prefer a fluid house because for one, when somebody wins HOH, you don't necessarily know like, oh, these two people are going up. So like the week itself can have more of an up and down trajectory. And then also it just, if you happen to have, and I don't think recent seasons necessarily have been great examples, but if you happen to have a lot or at least a few people who are in there who are really trying to mix it up and play the game, it gives them the opportunity to do so. When the house is split, everyone knows where everyone stands, and you can't cloak what you're doing. And I think one of my favorite elements of Big Brother is watching somebody, who has their fingers in a lot of pies and is keeping everyone from seeing that they're doing it. And it's really pretty much impossible to do that in this split house. Just end up in that James Ryan spot where like both sides don't trust you and vote you out. Or Scotty. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of hate it when they all stick together like that. Like I like it when someone turns and it causes a lot of drama. I mean, the whole level 6 crap this past season just drives me nuts. Now, let me ask you something, Alex. What is your opinion on Tyler Crispin?
Like, obviously, I've been like tweeting a lot of, kind of, and people say it's like I've been trashing Tyler. I don't know that I would say I've ever been like trashing Tyler. I've definitely like poked fun at Tyler in key moments, especially when I see that he's like engaged in something with Brent, because Brent has been a great friend to me. Like Brent is, I love Brent. Like everybody knows that me and him are close, and like, Tyler's mad because you came for Angela. Well, I'm mad because you came for Brent. Whatever. That's my boo. All right. So you're gonna try to play that game. Two can play that game. But like at the end of the day, I think it's just, he's still like 23. He's adjusting to he's adjusting to something that I think really it's just shock for a lot of us, and myself included. Like I think we just expected him to know what all this was. And maybe that's a little naive of us, you know, to like, because you get inundated with so much, right, when you get out, that like maybe even if you knew that was going to happen, being 23, you still couldn't handle it. You know, like I can't honestly sit here and say I know that I would have been able to. But as like a super fan, as somebody that like was in casting for OTT even, like I really am surprised that he didn't like expect every bit of all of this. You know, it's just, it does surprise me. That's all I'm going to say is like, I really was genuinely surprised that of all the people on this cast, you know, because there were several people on this cast, I'm like, oh, they're not going to be somebody who like engages with the podcasts or like not going to go do a Reddit AMA. Like this isn't the kind of person who's like really going to get in there with the fans and like go over like their week by week summary of their game, which is fine. Like there's a lot of people who play Big Brother every season. I mean, I wish they were all fans personally, but every season there's going to be hard fans who aren't doing that stuff, and that's okay. But I just think Tyler is the one person on the season. Like if you had put a gun to my head and said like, who's the one person who's going to take everything in stride, who's going to know like exactly what it is, who's going to like, I would have said Tyler. So yeah, it's just really surprising.
Yeah.
Someone's got a question for you. Pokemon in the chat. Alex wants to know, hey, Alex, random question. What are your thoughts on Keisha in BB10 as a game player? I think she is overrated.
I have thoughts too, but Alex, go first.
I mean, she might be overrated in the sense that like, I don't know anyone that doesn't love Keisha. And she did get third. You know, so like, I mean, maybe, you know, if you're,
Fourth.
Oh yeah, right. Fourth. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sorry, Jerry. Yeah, but you know, so I guess like if I had to say overrated, I'd say overrated just because most people I know would say like, oh yeah, Keisha should be brought back for an all-star season. Like she would be on my list, but I don't know if she would make my cut. Like she'd be close. Probably she might. I think she's probably higher on most people's list than mine.
Yeah, I think that
she's above average though.
She is above average, but what I remember most about Keisha is not any like fantastic gameplay. I just remember like her 30th birthday, her like hyena laugh, and the way she said "Dan." Like that's pretty much all I remember about her. She was very likable. She won America's Favorite, correct?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, so she won America's Favorite. So like she was very likable, but other than that, like I don't know, I'd like to see like another blonde like get cast in that spot for like an all-star season. I don't know who, but yeah.
She definitely benefits.
I'd like to see Haley before Keisha returns.
Haley, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, I mean, she definitely benefits from. First of all, I mean, she's in a really dominant spot. Like if her and April and Libra are able to stick together, I mean, they really have like a solid run over that house. I mean, because they each like have like Keisha has Rennie and April has Ollie. Like they really could have made that work if they hadn't blown up. But I mean, Keisha does benefit. I mean, and a lot of this is that just Dan sides with her in the fact that like when those feuds happen, when it's her versus April and her versus Libra, like she ends up winning those wars when it's not necessarily that like she did a lot to win them so much as
it came to her.
Yeah, it kind of just the numbers fell on her side in those situations, in those pivotal votes. Like,
Kim in the chat said, please tell Alex thank you so much for being such a great Sequester fan, loving his analysis.
Yeah, no, I'm finding Sequester really fun. Like I've tried to watch a few of the online seasons and like I don't have much of an attention span. And I always said I'd come back to it, but then like I remember it was like season 11 and I'm like, oh, when am I going to come back to it now? There's so much to go through. And I always did say like still probably at some point when I have time, I might go back and watch some of that stuff. Especially like I've got a couple friends who have done it at this point, like John Krause, who podcasts with Rob sometimes. Like I think he got second on one of those seasons. So like, I mean, there's definitely seasons, even online seasons I want to go back and watch. But once it was in a house, I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to watch this. Like I've been watching it from the first episode of the Black Hat series that was last time, especially because I was watching Survivor Maryland at the time and there was 2 people from Survivor Maryland on that season. So yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. I think it keeps getting better. I mean, this season of Sequester is been really, really good. It's well edited. It's well shot. It's competitive. People are playing really hard. And I mean, I saw a tweet the other day that it really is kind of more like The Genius than Big Brother. And I think that's probably accurate, like, because the speed of the rounds, the kind of the nature of the, like, the inability to just like get away from each other. Like, you're in a very tight, confined space. And yeah, I mean, and then a lot of the fact that there's like a wrinkle to each round that kind of, you know, like, I mean, they're twists, but they're not the kind of twists that Big Brother would introduce. Like, they're actual like mechanic twists, as opposed to just like, you know, random twists or like popularity twists or whatever else. I mean, so they're actually like the kind of twists that force you to really, like, even if you had a majority, you really have to think about, like, man, how are we going to work our way around this so none of us go home here, you know?
Yeah.
Which is always compelling.
I've never seen Genius, but have you watched it, Alex? Would you recommend it?
It's fun. I would. I mean, if you can handle the subtitles, like, it's not something you can put on and do something else, which is like, I need those shows too. Like, I need to be able to watch something and do other stuff sometimes. And The Genius isn't that. But yeah, I mean, it does, it starts compelling, and I think it gets like better and better. Like, season 3 and season 4 are probably the best. Like, I personally, I think it's just progressively better. The competitions they come up with each week, some of them are really, really clever. A lot of, you know, prisoner's dilemma type scenarios where, like, if everyone acts in the interest of the group wins. But if even one person, you know, makes a move for themselves, then it changes the entire dynamic of the game. Some really clever kinds of games, especially, like, I remember one where, like, everybody randomly drew a different animal, and like, your animal was vulnerable to somebody else's animal. And like, depending on what room you ended up in at the end of the round, like, you got eaten or you ate someone, or, you know, so that's like, cool. If you were a predator, you had to eat each round. If you weren't a predator, you had to like avoid a predator. Like, it was a pretty cool, like, they've got some really clever games. So if you can do the subtitles, I definitely recommend it.
Okay, well, you know, Alex, you are sitting in a room with a Sequester All-Star. I'm not, you know, tooting my own horn or anything. I played in 5 and 6, and I will tell you, that was so stressful. I mean, the stress level playing like that, it's like I've said all along, social media is an extra player in the game, because with Sequester, I like the way they're in a house now and they can't rely on social media and people telling them what's going on.
Much better.
Right. Because when I played, as soon as we were done for the night, I've got my mom, my sister-in-law, all these people. Oh my God, did you see so-and-so was doing this in another room and all this stuff? And I'm like, really? And it kind of, it helped me. Whereas I wish I could have played without having that intel.
I almost played in a mini. Like, Audrey's been doing a bunch of minis in the last couple months, and like, it didn't work out, but like, I was really close to getting in one of them. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I mean, I was blown away because I ended up watching like the second half of it when I did get home. And like, the chat is just constantly going in the Sequester Twitter feed, and it's like, anytime you make a deal, someone tweets it, like, oh, so just made a deal in room 3. You're like, well, dude, like, what am I supposed to do then? Like, what do I do? Like if the game is to make alliances, but you're gonna out every alliance I make so that it's like, the negatives outweigh the positives of making the alliance, then I guess I'm just gonna, like, what?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we see you in a mini soon. I would love to see how you play in one of those, Alex.
Oh man, I don't think it would end well. I can't. I think I would have fun, but like, I feel like people would be like, hey, get him out of here. What are we doing?
Well, the first time I played, I wasn't very mindful. I made it pretty far, but I wasn't very mindful of the social media aspect. So when I played in All Stars, I kept a lot of decisions to myself. When I did stuff, I didn't announce it to people. I didn't ask opinions on anything. I got 2 people out on my own without help from anyone. So when I got to, you know, I was part of the jury. When I got, you know, of course I was butthurt, but anyway, you know, when I came down to the jury, my big question was, what did the 2 of you do on your own? What risks did you take on your own without, you know, getting with your committee? You know, what did you do? And they couldn't really give me a real answer. So it was hard for me to vote. Like, I don't know who to vote for.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the problem with, I mean, working as a unit, you know, like, I mean, it's get you to the end, hard for you to argue your case at the end if you don't at some point deviate and do something for yourself specifically.
But you know, I mean, you're not supposed, this is the rule, you're not supposed to have that kind of stuff up while you're playing. And I will be 100%, I'd have no, I did not have anything up. I didn't read anything. I played it honestly.
That's a tough ask.
It is.
Yeah.
And then when I go back and look at it, I'm like, those motherfuckers had it up on their other screen. I know it. I know
it's like saying, it's like taking the bar, like, you know, something really important, like you've got to go and like pass your legal exam, and like all the answers are right here on the wall, and they're like, you're not allowed to look to your left while you take it. And it's just like,
I would look to the left.
Oh, I know.
Of course you would.
You little cheater.
Slytherin for life. What can I say?
Oh God.
But I think that's everything in terms of the show. Unless did you guys have any last thoughts or anything?
Didn't I pick Davey to win a long time ago?
Yeah, I guess I'm going Allison at this point.
I picked Wendell last year. I'm on a roll. Let's see.
Jesus.
What do you think, Alex? Oh, shut up.
I mean, I'm still gonna go with, and you know, especially if you're gonna take Allison, I'm still gonna go with Nick because, you know, as I said, I called it preseason. This is somebody I knew before he was playing. I knew he was playing. We're Facebook friends, and it just, you know, if you're my Facebook friend and you get on Survivor, I'll root for you too. You know, that's the rule. That's the deal. It's the way it works.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, the finale is next week, so we don't have too much time to wait to see.
I know. One more week.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Alex. Do you watch?
I entered the random drawing for a ticket to the finale. I'll see if I get there. I was at the Game Changers finale. Like, now that I live out here, I can do stuff like that. You know, just like enter drawings for.
So you're in California. You're in LA now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. Alex, do you watch X on the Beach on MTV?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I feel obligated because the Big Brother connection.
Well, Tyler and
especially
I are going to cover it this season.
Nice.
We're going to take a swing at it and see if we can stomach it. It's just 6 weeks of mindless entertainment.
Yeah.
So.
Did you first one?
Yeah. Well, the American version. Listen, I tried to cover that with a couple of friends. It was just a hot mess. It was so bad.
It was really bad. Yeah. And Romeo's not a good host.
Oh God, no. I would love to host that show. Yeah. I would just egg it on and stick it in and break it off every time. Yep. Especially with Farrah from Teen and Pregnant Mothers on the show. That's going to be amazing. I hate her, but you can't stop watching her.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they've tweaked the format a little bit because like the first season with just like put a crush in the pineapple or whatever. I was just like, this, you know, they think this is high drama. It's not. Like, we need to watch this a little bit.
There's no climax in that. The pineapple. Oh, shut up, Romeo. Get out of here. No, I'd rather have someone else host it. I don't know who. Like, if you could pick a host, who would you pick?
That's tough.
Man, that's a tough call.
I want the guy from Ridiculousness. What's his name?
Rob Dyrdek.
I think he would be kind of funny. I don't know.
Well, it'd be better. It'd be better than Romeo. That's the problem. It's such an open-ended question. Like, who would be a better host than Romeo? Like, oh, where's my phone book? I don't. Too many answers.
Alex, I have one last question for you. Who's your one pick for Celebrity Big Brother 2?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I should go with somebody LA local. Like, I want to say like Andy Dick because I met him. I ran into him like my 3rd week here, and I found out like gradually living here, everyone has like every single person who lives here has an Andy Dick story. It just seems like the quintessential choice. I just don't know if they'd go with him. Like he's a little bit of a controversial it's you don't know what you get with Andy Dick. I mean, I guess the same could be said of Meta World Peace, but he's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, same for Omarosa.
Same is true there. Yeah.
Alex, have you ever seen the YouTube video of the song that Andy Dick did called "I'm Not Stalking You, I'm Just Calling a Lot"?
I have not.
Oh my God, I'm going to send that to you. It is so funny. It is so good. It's so good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Man, no, I feel like I should have, you know, you know, some recently retired athlete. What about like, someone like Chad Johnson? That's my call. I'll go with Chad Johnson, the former football player. He's very, or Terrell Owens. Although Terrell Owens quit the challenge, and that was like a really, that was the version of the challenge where they like stay in a hotel room. So he quit that. He wouldn't do Big Brother. So I'll go with Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson's charismatic. He's kind of like, people kind of forgotten about him. Like, he was really entertaining when he played, and then he retired, and it's been like 5 years now. And I think people would be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. So it'd be a good call.
Okay.
Well, listen, Alex, I want you to come back on our show when we do the pre-cast analysis for Celebrity Big Brother 2.
I can do that. I love doing pre-cast analysis.
That's
like one of my favorite things to do, because you're just, you know, you can't be wrong. It's like you get to be the like San Diego weatherman, you know, where it's just like you're just free rolling with all your predictions.
Right.
I would love to do a draft for that too. That would be so much fun. And like predicting like who Tiffany Pollard like wins HOH and takes out and stuff.
Oh, that would be a good cast. I know people wanted New York last time. I mean, I think people are going to keep clamoring for New York until they give it to him.
I personally think New York was cast, but then they got Omarosa, so they took her out because of that. That's the world I live in anyway.
Well, in the chat we have like O.J. Simpson, Roseanne. I want to see freaking David Lee Roth on Celebrity Big Brother too. I don't know why. I just think that would be hilarious.
I mean, I guess you could do OJ because they don't give them real knives. So, you know. What's he gonna do?
He just be sitting there. He wouldn't even know what's going on, and that would be entertaining.
Oh my gosh!
Maybe till you wake up and he's like, "Well, everyone's dead. Do I win?" And you're like, "Ooh."
Yeah. So we're not supposed to kill the competition. Damn it. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, we'll find out. But Alex, we'll definitely invite you on for that show and see what kind of craziness we can talk about with the cast and stuff. So
cool. Yeah. No, that sounds like fun. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Well,
and thanks for having me on. This was a great time. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And Allison, do your social media spiel.
Oh, everybody loves my social. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to end the show, but don't hang up, Alex. We'll talk after the show. Anyway, thank you for watching my weekly meltdown. Please subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when we go live with our show. Please like the Facebook page. I know I'm posting a lot, but please just like it anyway. I'm trying to beat somebody else's page, so it's a personal thing for me. Follow me on Instagram. I am the.memphis.darling. And no, I find it creepy that I have to explain this. The word dot is not spelled out. It is a period. So it's the.Memphis.darling. Okay. And also, my cat Finley has his own Instagram, and I'm trying to pimp it out. Please follow Finley. Finley's _insty. It's FINLEYS_insty. And yes, Alex, back in the day when Rob Sesternino used to talk about all the cat ladies that watch these shows, I am the cat lady.
That's literally Allison. She's fucking crazy.
So, Alex, it's true. Sir,
sorry,
I have a certificate
I'm just a dog mom these days. So
well, Alex, how can people find you on social media?
I'm at Alex Kidwell on Twitter. I'm Alex Kidwell on Facebook. I manage to get to like the just straight up Alex Kidwell on most things. There's a couple of them out there. I know there's one guy who went to like Oral Roberts or one of those like, you know, really like ultra conservative schools, who's another Alex Kidwell, but I definitely beat him to like everything out there. So
nice.
Pretty proud of that. Oh, but except for my Instagram's like akidwell87 because I made that before I was on top of my branding, and then I never got back on it. I don't know. And now it's too late. You know, these things happen.
It's all right. It's life. And this guy, Tyler, how can people find you?
You can find me at TLyonz, TLYONZZ. Most of my Big Brother Survivor stuff is on Twitter, so follow me there.
All right, that was
That's
TLIONZZ.
No, Allison can never spell this right, Alex. It drives me bananas because it's literally like 6 letters. TLYONZZ. It's really not that difficult.
That's what I said. TLYYCZNZ.
All right. Well, that is everything. I guess we'll see if Allison pulls it off or if Davey is going to win and keep Allison's winner streak going, and see if Alex's longtime Facebook friend Nick goes away with $1 million. So we have a lot of options here, and we'll see who pulls it out next week.
For sure. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week for the Survivor David versus Goliath finale. I don't know exactly what time we're going to be live. I don't know if we're going to do right after the show, or I don't know if I will be alive after the reunion. I'm not sure. So we'll figure that out. And then the Thursday, the following night, we will be back covering X on the Beach season 2.
Yes.
Lord help
Almost
me.
upon us.
It is.
Right.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Good Lord. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.